I've never done makeup on the living or even tried. It's different. My name is Viktor and I'm a thanatopractor. What about you? Just the usual preparation of the body, cleaning the deceased, dressing, washing, applying makeup and cosmetic services. So in terms of percentage, it's about 80% cosmetic services and about 20% embalming. I've been working as a morgue attendant for 22 or 23 years. I don't remember exactly. Now I've been working since 2009. I work privately, self-employed. That is, I provide funeral services at people's homes. In rare cases, at the morgue. One of my best friends comes from a family of doctors, forensic experts. His father got me a job as a night attendant, and I would just visit him at the morgue. It was the 90s. There were murders and suicides. I won't lie, at first it was unpleasant. The smells were really nasty. Especially when a body has been left for a long time in the forest or a basement. Especially murders. In the 90s, those were buried bodies. Of course, there were smells, there were maggots, worms, beetles. It was all unpleasant to the touch.
Hi, I'm Lesha Sudnikov and I'm filming the project Not a Small Person. We asked for 20,000 likes under the chef for the homeless video and you delivered. Now, expect a story from us about a person who lived on the street but managed to turn his life around. Today we have a video about thanatopraxy. Let's make a deal. If we get 30,000 likes, we'll make a story about a person who makes coffins. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a comment. It really helps our channel grow. Thank you. See you next time.
There were some tough cases in forensic examination, like injuries from falls or accidents, where you had to reconstruct the body to make it presentable. That was tough. We assembled it by hand like that. After the autopsy, we reassemble the bones and stitch the wounds. If something can't be fixed, we glue or model it as best we can. Explosion injuries and dismemberment, it was wild, but it happened.
From the explosion.
Yeah, it happened back in the wild 90s, as they say, when I was just starting to work. He either sold or was about to sell a car to a young guy. The gangsters bluntly took him to the woods and dropped a grenade down his collar. They tried to do something, but with such an explosion, with all that shrapnel, there was nothing they could do. We tried to do something, of course, but I don't remember what exactly. I think we didn't really do anything special, just kept it in a bag, that's all. 4 lacerations, gunshot wounds, yes, just 2. When the wound is too wide to bring the edges together, they would carefully take skin from the back of the thigh and graft it, stitching it with fine sutures, and then apply makeup so it wouldn't be visible. I preserved the deceased. That is to slow down the decomposition process. What is embalming? It's a method to stop, or rather to slow down decomposition. First, of course, we use knives and tools to reach the arteries. Usually, embalming is done either through the carotid artery or the femoral artery, most often an artery. These hoses and tubes are connected here, and cannulas are attached to the tubes. Cannulas are different sized tubes for different vessel diameters used to inject solutions. We pour the embalming fluid into this large jar. They're all basically formalin-based, just with different concentrations. We connect the tubes to the device. A vacuum and pressure are created here, and the device starts delivering the solution into the bloodstream. The solution circulates, pushing out the blood and replacing it. It fixes the tissues and helps preserve the body for a long period. Well, that's putting it in very simple terms.
Why do we need to remove excess fluid from the body?
We remove excess fluid to halt decomposition, since the body is oversaturated with fungi and bacteria that break it down. So the more we dry out the body, the better it will be preserved.
What do you mean by fluid? Is it blood or something else?
Blood, some secretions, acidic fluid, urine, the contents of the intestines and stomach. These are the fluids we remove. Everything that can be removed, we remove. When someone dies, their complexion always changes. The face may become pale when lying horizontally as blood drains downward. Conversely, lying face down causes blood to flow to the face, making it appear purple or blue. So regular makeup isn't suitable. If there are some severe changes, then it's better to use so-called thanatocosmetics, which contain formaldehyde. They work to hide these changes as much as possible. So the main thing used for makeup is thanatogal, which is based on formalin. It's used to smooth out wrinkles, fill the lips, and correct sunken eyeballs. There's also thanatoprimer, which is a deep soak that dries out wounds. The soaking actually goes almost a centimeter deep. This is how the skin is prepared for makeup. Nanosilver is a powerful disinfectant that kills fungi and spores. Thanatoplastinate smooths and perfects the face's surface. Thanatocosmetics are subdued and universal, not bright.
Has anyone ever asked you to paint the lips a specific color?
All the time, quite often, especially if it's a young girl or woman, they ask to use exactly the color of her lipstick. First, you need to do a little Thanato makeup and only then use the lipstick. Lipstick for the living doesn't always work on the lips of the dead. They sometimes ask to dye hair, mostly for women to cover gray hair. Requests include nail trimming, haircuts, or specific hairstyles. Yes, when a person dies, some muscles relax. Sometimes the mouth opens and we fix it, either by tamponing. You put tampons inside the mouth, in the throat, and from the inside you lift the jaw so it stays fixed. Or we sew it. You sew it? Yes, we sew it, meaning a thread is passed through the lower and upper jaw and tied together. A full cosmetic kit costs about $250. An embalming device is around $2,800 to $3,000. These kinds of kits, scissors, clamps, tweezers, cost around $1,800. So it's quite expensive equipment. Charging 100 to 120 rubles covers only washing, dressing, and preparing the body, basic services. Embalming starts at 250 and increases. I remember the first order I messed up. I ruined the body. I relied on my limited experience of 2 or 3 years. When I arrived at the address, there was a heavy-set woman, and I didn't ask her anything, not even about illnesses. I took care of her, dressed her, washed her, dressed her again, did her makeup, injected her. I went home feeling at ease, and then a few hours later I got a call, come back. Something was happening with the body, it was swelling. I arrived and the body really started to deflate, darken, turn green. The decomposition process had started. I panicked and didn't know what to do, so the body ended up buried in a closed coffin. I later found out she had one of the severe forms of diabetes. That affected decomposition. Some diseases strongly impact it. I didn't know that. Even now, I remember it from about 17 or 18 years ago and still feel ashamed in front of those people. I apologized and nearly begged for forgiveness. How do you remove the smell? You can't completely eliminate it if people can still notice it. Of course, after washing the body and getting dressed, you can ask to spray your favorite perfume on your jacket or dress. Or you can anoint. Sometimes you can put a few drops of essential oil on the edge of the coffin. Preparation takes about 15 to 20 minutes. Before, I had a job that took about 6 to 8 hours. The woman was around 45 to 50 years old. She was ill. She died from an illness, but her relatives were very far away, abroad. They arrived on the 12th day and they were impressed by the work. She looked much the same as when she died. Embalming very obese people is very difficult. A man weighing 300 kilograms died. The hardest part of preparing obese bodies is that fat still holds water. The body decomposes very quickly, not instantly, but by the next day. It could happen that the body will be kept in a closed coffin. And accordingly, you need to have time to inject the solution and prepare the body so that it is at least preserved. This is especially true for the face. Viktor, do you have children? My son is 20 and my daughter will turn 18 this year. Do your kids know what their dad does? They do now. They didn't before. Well, actually, I guess they only found out what I do maybe just this past year. And before that, what did they think their dad did? An administrator. I didn't want to. I didn't know how they would take it, but it seems they took it fine. They reacted normally. Work is work. They were curious and asked, how do people react when they learn who you are? Of course, at first everyone was asking questions. They were curious. They asked normal questions, silly questions. Has anyone ever performed an autopsy on someone who was just deeply asleep? A lethargic sleep, for example, about rigor mortis, about decomposition. Do you ever dream about the deceased? Do you dream of the dead? I do, but not in nightmares and only rarely. I had dreams like at work, as if I'm talking to someone in the morgue. Bodies lay here, possibly able to move. Yet it wasn't a nightmare, just something ordinary. Actually, there's no stress at all. I separate myself from work. Work is work, home is home, friends are friends. Stress often comes from communicating with relatives, not work. It's mostly irritation and hysteria. As we all know, people drink alcohol. They would get drunk to the point of being completely wasted, to put it bluntly, and interfere with work, yell, threaten with something. They were just completely out of control. Yeah, things like, I'll tear you apart, I'll throw you out. With my job, I won't be out of work. I become cynical. I'm not afraid to see it. For example, I've seen many accidents and injuries. They don't shake me up as much, and I stay calm. Being a thanatopractor means, of course, always improving yourself, always learning, studying something, mastering new methods. Because everybody, as I say, is different. That is, you always find something new for yourself, always something new. I've worked for 20 years and thought I'd seen it all, but every time I realize there's more I haven't seen.